Now, Spain's general election has ended with no clear winner. Opinion polls ahead of the vote indicated a coalition of conservative and far-right parties was set to unseat socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, but they fell short of expectations. A minimum of 176 seats are needed for an outright majority in Spain's parliament, but neither the right-wing nor left-wing blocs got enough votes to achieve that. Spain's Conservative Popular Party emerged as the largest party, and its leader says he will try to assemble a coalition, but he faces an uphill battle.
Spain has spoken, says Alberto Núñez Feijóo, as election results are announced. His centre-right Popular Party is celebrating winning the most votes. But that's not enough for the Popular Party to form a government on its own. By partnering with extreme right-wing blocs and other smaller parties, there is a possibility Feijóo could form a government.
As the candidate of the party that has the most votes, I think that my duty is to open the dialogue so I can lead this dialogue from the first minute and to try and govern our country, accepting our victory in the electoral results.
But it will not be easy for him to gather the support he needs. The cheers at the rival socialist camp are just as loud. Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez also declared a victory for the left. The results mean that he could cling to power through a jigsaw of alliances. But he would need all of the left-wing parties and Catalan parties to form a new government.
Spain has been very clear. Spain and all its citizens who have voted have been crystal clear. The backward-looking bloc that wanted to roll back all the progress we made over the past 4 years has failed.
Sanchez is known as a political survivalist, and with enough support from his left-wing allies, he could very well block the formation of a conservative-led government. The path ahead for a new government is complicated, meaning the country is facing weeks of uncertainty.
Let's bring in our correspondent Jan-Philipp Schultz here. He joins us from Madrid. Now, neither of the main parties in this election won enough votes to easily form a government, so what will they do?
Well, the elections have definitely produced a paradox outcome. The Conservatives win, but they are not really happy winners because they don't get the predicted majority to form a government together with the far right. Conservative leader Feijóo said that he will still try to form a government, but nobody knows at the moment how such a government could look like. On the other side, Prime Minister Sanchez will try to do the same, but he would heavily depend on some hardline separatists from Catalonia, which is also not a very popular plan. Here in Spain, there is no constitutional deadline for the formation of a new government. The current government could just continue as a caretaker government for a while, and political negotiations could drag on for months. But in the end, there might be a bloqueo, as they call it here, a political deadlock.
How likely is it, Jan-Philipp, that we'll see a fresh election in Spain? And if there is one, can we expect the result to be any different?
Fresh elections are definitely a possible scenario. It wouldn't be the first time in Spain that this happens, but there are a lot of doubts if they would really produce very different results. Also, sort of a cooperation between the two big blocs, for example, between the socialists and the conservatives, is not very likely here in Spain because of historic reasons, going all the way back to the Franco dictatorship, and also because of the highly polarized society. So the formation of a stable government will definitely be a challenge here.
Now, this election has shown that Spain is politically quite divided. What are the key issues that divide Spaniards, Jan-Philipp?
A lot of it has to do with what many observers call a culture war going on between the right-wing camp and the left-wing camp. It's a lot about topics such as minority rights, women's rights, rights of the queer community, but also a lot about questions of national identity and pride. And also the media, especially the social media, play an important role. There have been a lot of aggressive campaigns on all sides, mainly targeting the current left-wing government, also fueled by a lot of fake news. So all of this has contributed to the current polarization here.
Jan Philipp, thank you very much as always. Our correspondent Jan Philipp Schultz in Madrid.